Hi everybody, welcome back to episode 6 of Buena Vida Social Club, Wine Club edition. This month the theme is Wines That Love You Back because it's February, and this is my lovely guest, Kimberly.
Hi, I'm Kimberly Wilson, Marketing and Strategy Manager for Action Wine and Spirits. I love wine. Very happy to be here.
Yay.
Yay.
Like I said, we have a couple of really cool bottles that will love you back in the morning even if you drink the whole thing. First wine that we have today is an unfiltered Arneus from Piedmont. That's in Italy. It's the northwest corner of Italy, way up north, so high elevation, fairly high acid, thick skins. As you will see, and you probably can see on the camera, she's a little cloudy, and there's good reason for it. It is unfined and unfiltered, all native ferment, so there's literally only natural yeast in here and grape juice. And it's so good. It's been one of my favorite wines for a really long time, so I'm excited to share this with everybody.
Rock on.
What do you know about Arneus?
It means little rascal.
That's so cute.
Okay. So
You're a little rascal.
Just in time for Valentine's Day.
I love a little rascal grape. I think it's because it's also they call it little rascal because it's temperamental in the way that it grows. So it grows in a lot of like little tiny super tight bunches, and it's really susceptible for fungus and rot. So it's not a hugely produced varietal, but it's definitely native to the Piedmont area, and has been grown by this family since 1800s. So it's an old school.
Harvest date is extremely important with that for optimal acidity.
Yeah.
Within the area.
She knew. She fresh.
She's fresh.
She's like you. Fresh with a leopard shirt.
Fresh with baby leopards.
Cool. So let's have a smell. So right off the bat, like when I shook this, I could see that it was a little bit more viscous in the bottle, because the bubbles were rising a lot slower than what sometimes like a little bit less viscous or a thinner wine would normally do. But this one's so good. It's like it's like sunshiny.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only way that I can describe it. Like sunshine with white flowers and like a little like spritz of fresh lemon.
It's like almost a salinity too on the nose. Yeah, it's a B.
It's also really great served, really, really chilled.
Yes.
I don't know. What else do you taste? Is the nose different than the palate?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think? How?
I think just it explodes when it hits your palate. Like it's a little more subtle on the nose, and it's just burst, bright acidity. Be really good with food.
Yeah.
Its own.
Yeah.
I think you could go a lot of different directions with pairing Arneus with food.
Mm-hmm.
If you were planning for a nice dinner.
So one of the biggest things about why it is cloudy is because it's unfined and unfiltered. That means that they don't go through any extra steps to make the wine itself clear. So there's a couple different ways that they can fine or filter. Fining is a process that can be done, and it makes it so that not all wine is vegan. But this wine obviously has gone through none of that, so it's 100% vegan. And it just has very, very, very little additives. So like I said, wines that love you back, it's really important. There's so many people that are like, oh my gosh, I got a headache because I drank too much wine last night. And it's like, well, you drank too much wine, but also it was wine that probably had a lot of like icky stuff in it. There's a lot of icky things that can go into wine, but these wines don't have them.
Nope.
Which
makes it all
we
better.
don't like the ick.
Nope. No ick here. I
Yay.
think that the unfiltered can also add a nice textural element
Mm-hmm.
on the palate as well.
100%.
It's just really nice and balanced.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Yay, we love wine. All right, so second wine we have is our red option. So it's coming from Chinon in the Loire Valley in France. And the grape is Cab Franc.
Cab Franc.
What do you know about Cab Franc?
I know that Cab Franc can be grown in a lot of different areas, but in this particular region of Loire, it's a little cooler climate. So you're going to get a lot more fruit, as opposed to some others that you would find in Bordeaux that are used more so for blending. But this is 100% straight up, and it is a really beautiful expression of Cab Franc, if I do say so myself.
Yeah. Yeah, one of my favorite things about Cab Franc is it's savory, can be really vegetal, can be super floral, depending on where it's coming from, of course. But that's one of my favorite things about the Loire Valley is that the soil is so diverse and the terroir is so diverse that it makes it so that a Cab Franc can be grown 1 mile away and then grown here, and then we harvest them. We go through the exact same vinification process, and they can taste completely different. That's the Loire Valley is like a world-class place to grow grapes.
Yeah.
Anyway,
What are you smelling?
everything. It smells so good.
Yeah.
Pine coney sort of, and like savory and cherry-y.
Yep, you get that cherry.
And I do want to reiterate too that any listing of things that we say that we smell, if you interpret it as something completely different, then that's good too. We want that, because honestly, like, people are never wrong in the way that they interpret smells or taste.
Right.
Literally, like,
And it changes
Yeah.
throughout
Oh, yeah,
when you're
totally.
drinking too. Like if you opened this and it was really cold and you smell one thing and then it starts to warm up and then it gets to room temp, it's going to smell completely different and you're
Yeah.
going to pick up different notes.
specifically in
Exactly.
wines that are really well made, which brings me to my next point, is both of these wines are incredibly well made. The only ingredients in them is grapes and yeast, and it is very important to note that the yeast is naturally occurring, so there's no use of sulfur during the winemaking practice to stop that natural fermentation from happening from the naturally occurring yeast. That's one of the most insidious ways that they can make wines not natural, and to make it so that they're controlling the entire like path
Yep.
that the grapes want to naturally take, you know.
Yep.
Yeah, ever since we opened this, it's changed quite a bit. So like tons of like cocoa nibs, right?
Yep. And kind of getting that powderiness that you were talking about earlier
Mhm.
a little bit. And then a little bit of fresh jalapeno crunchiness that I'm getting on the nose.
Yum.
But
My God, that's so good. Ugh, that's so good. If you've never had Cab Franc before, it is related to Cab Sauv, but in no way, shape, or form does this taste like. For example, we have the Bacchus Cab Sauv on the shelf right now. This is worlds away. Not in a bad way. It's just completely different.
yeah, it's got spice to it. It's got fruit, like it's very fruit forward, but also the tannin is like really supple and
Yeah.
pretty mellow. It's not
It's a really, really well
really
structured wine.
pleasant. Yeah, it's nice.
I'm having more.
Yeah.
You want a skosh?
Just a little skosh. Yeah, and the winemaker Marc Clouzot is really prolific and well known throughout the area in Loire Valley for making this particular style of wine. Cheers.
Yay. You'll love it. We do.
We do.
We do.
With food?
Jackie does.
Without food. Jackie, have a smell.
Have a taste.
Have a taste.
Have a taste, if you will. She loves it. She loves it.
Mmm. Hey, plus.
Mm.
Cheers.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for our 6th episode of Buena Vida Social Club and Wines That Love You Back. We promise you they will love you back.
Well, thank you for letting me be a part of this
Hell yeah, of
very
course.
fun Valentine's video.
Yeah, cheers.
You killed it with the selections.
Titty. Happy February.